And is the race to power in Bihar, and counting of votes has begun. Postal ballots first.
That's indeed true, Shivan. This is the moment. The postal ballots are going to be counted. So you will get a sort of a skewed picture because postal ballots do not always indicate which way the trends are. By 8:30, the counting from the EV machines will, of course, begin. And we need to see as to which way the wind is blowing in Bihar. Because is this going to be a repeat again for Nitish Kumar, where he again comes back and sits in the Chief Minister's chair, even though he's been in power for the last 20 years?
20 years. It's going to be a fifth record term or an upset for the incumbent. Bihar is set to elect his chief ministers as voters determine if veteran leader Nitish Kumar of the JDU will clinch an unprecedented fifth term, or will he pave way for a new government? Now, the two-phase assembly elections for the 243-seat House conducted on the 6th and the 11th of November witnessed an impressive voter participation of 67.13%.
The voter turnout, which has been unprecedented, this of course has sparked a lot of speculation as to what actually prompted the people of Bihar to come out and vote in this very unprecedented manner. Now, some are suggesting, this is how they see it, that some are suggesting that they probably want change, and that is why so many people have come out and voted. That's one theory. Another is the migrant population.
Yes.
And that's being talked about a lot because it was the festive season.
Chhat Puja.
There was Deepavali, and many of the people who had gone to Bihar to visit their homes have now stayed back to cast their ballots and to make it count.
Have they voted for change
and
or not?
What have the migrant voter been voting for? What do they want? Do they want another 5 more years of Nitish Kumar? These are some of the questions we will, of course, get an answer to. The exit polls, however, have predicted a dominant victory for the incumbent National Democratic Alliance, including the JDU and Rashtriya Janata Dal, the RJD's party under Tejashwi Yadav. It seems not to have had the same spark as it once did under Lalu Prasad Yadav. It now remains to be seen, can Tejashwi Yadav actually earn his purse and oust the long-time incumbent Nitish Kumar?
But he confidently predicts a landslide for the Mahagathbandhan, the Grand Alliance, a massive electorate of 7.45 crore cast ballots to shape the destiny of over 2,600 candidates, and featuring high-profile names as well, like Deputy Chief Minister Samrat Chaudhary and Vijay Kumar Sinha, JJD's Tej Pratap, and Congress State Chief Rajesh Kumar. Now, vote tallying kicks has already started at 8 a.m. and this is across 46 counting stations in 38 districts, with early indications expected around 9 a.m.
And the very first figures that come out, Shivan, it's important to point out that these are just early trends and leads. They're not necessarily, they are not going to be results at least till about 10, 11 a.m. So in the next 3-4 hours, we'll have a clear picture as to which way the wind, of course, is blowing. Now, the NDA coalition fielded candidates from 5 parties, with the JDU and the BJP each contesting on 101 seats each, whereas the India Alliance unites the RJD, the Congress, the CPI-ML, Liberation and other left outfits, and also the VIP, the Vikassheel Insan Party.
All right, we're now being joined live by Aditi Fadnis from New Delhi, who's a senior journalist and contributing editor, Business Standard. Ms. Fadnis, we were discussing what would happen. Now, of course, it's result day. Counting has already begun. Let's start with the most obvious question that I think it will all boil down to. Is it going to be a record fifth term for the incumbent?
Well, I don't want to speculate on whether it's going to be a record term for whom, but certainly the crucial question, the central question is how many votes, how many seats is Nitish Kumar's JDU going to win? Because for me, that is the central deciding factor which will determine the outcome of the election. Nitish Kumar is known as, you yourself said, a consummate politician who can switch sides, who is under no obligation to change coalition partners when he feels he is in a better position with one or the other. So for the last 5 years, his friends have been the BJP, but he can get new friends. There's no bar on that. So for me, the deciding factor is not how many seats or what the strike rate of parties is going to be, but what the strike rate of the JDU is going to be.
I think that of course, is going to be a crucial question, Ms. Fadnis. We'll, of course, get to know as to what the figures will be, because these are still very initial moments. We are 11 minutes into counting since it has started. But do you expect, in some ways, the JDU to get more number of seats than the Bharatiya Janata Party this time round? Because Bihar is a bit of an outlier of a state, even in the Hindi belt. Not many people would get this. The fact is the Bharatiya Janata Party, despite the very dominant performance that it has put out in the last couple of decades, it still has never managed to have its own government in Bihar. It always needs the JDU as its partner. How do you see the power balance between the JDU and the BJP itself within the NDA alliance?
So far, the power balance has been equitable. JDU has usually got what it has wanted from the central government in the BJP. We know that one of the major demands of Bihar, and specifically articulated by the JDU, was special status for Bihar. The category of special status states has been abolished or has been eliminated altogether after the Finance Commission report. But that has never been a problem. So reach of funds has never been a problem for the government led by Nitish Kumar, and you see that in that reflected in the amount of infrastructure development that has happened in Bihar in the last 20 years, but more specifically in the last 5 years or so. Uh, Bihar is now the only state in India which has a bridge and road maintenance policy.
Right.
Because, as you know, Bihar is an outlier. It is right at the end of the Ganga and its tributaries contribute a lot of alluvial soil, which makes Bihar very fertile, but also present a big problem in terms of navigation. You have to circumvent large areas to reach your point of destination, which might be on the other side of the Ganga, which needs bridges.
Right.
And this government has built more bridges than any other in the past.
Ms. Fadnis, stay with us. We'll just quickly go to a reaction that is coming from Tejashwi Yadav of the RJD.
जीत होने वाली है बाहर चलिए हम लोग जीत रहे हैं बहुत शुभकामनाएं आप लोगों को बदलाव होगा बदलाव होने जा रहा है चलिए सरकार बना रहे हैं चलिए
आज जो सूर्य का तेज है ना वह विकास का तेज है वह राजनीति में वंशवाद का नहीं रहेगा भ्रष्टाचार का नहीं रहेगा पारिवारिक विरासत का नहीं रहेगा राजनीति में बिहार की जनता एनडीए के नेता क्लाइमेट लीडर पर विश्वास करेगी माननीय नीतीश कुमार जी पर
All right, so that of course we heard a little while back from Tejashwi Yadav.
He's calling it Badlav.
He's calling it Badlav. He seems to be very, very confident that this time round the people of Bihar of course want change. But will it happen? Because remember, it is a very complicated election. It's not your normal election. The caste arithmetic, that is the crux of what happens here. There's also the question of Vikas, there's this question of government policies. But at the same time, Bihar is a very complicated state where every Bihari individual has an opinion, and a very strong opinion on politics, and it's very difficult to predict as to which way the wind, of course, is blowing.
Ms. Fadnis, if you're there with us, yes, Ms. Fadnis, the voter turnout, that's something Saleh and me have been discussing here in the studio as well, and the entire country has seen it, 67.13%. It's a leap ahead of what was seen the previous time in 2020. What could have been the possible reasons that led to this increased voter turnout?
I think it's pretty clear that women have fueled the large voter turnout, and policies of the previous government, policies of Nitish Kumar specifically, have been very pro-women ever since he came to power in 2000. He not only did a lot of work on women's education, which is actually showing now because Bihar shows, despite its other parameters being miserably low, it shows the highest level of recruitment in the police forces of women. So, I mean, that's a factoid. But the fact is that women's education has been a kind of a passion for Nitish Kumar from the time he came to power. Bihar's educational sector is pretty decrepit. There's no doubt about that. There are exam leaks. There is impersonation. There's a lot of problems. But still, facilitating the girl child's entry into the school by providing her bicycles in order to cycle to school was a big game changer. It's not just that, it's also that he imposed prohibition on Bihar at considerable revenue cost, because excise is a big component in any state's GDP. And he also did a lot of work to make Bihar safer for women in terms of law and order. So all this, the combination of all this has led to I mean, Bihar women coming out in large numbers. Also, I think the game changer was the 3,000 rupee well, people call it freebie. I don't look at it like that. Uh, Grant for women entrepreneurs. Their eyes are not just on this 3,000, on this 10,000 rupees which they are going to get. It's also on the 2,009 2,90,000 rupees which has been promised to them if he comes to power.
And Ms. Fadnis, as I had mentioned, that voter turnout, there were 72 lakh extra votes that were cast this time. Now, regardless of what all would have fueled that, who do you feel that would have gone in favor of, and who would they have, would it only be helping as the results are awaited hours from now?
Well, I don't know what extra votes are. These are presumably the votes of
Compared
the
to
new
last time.
voters who have been added.
Compared to
Who have been added to the electoral list, and the special intensive review launched by the Election Commission has contributed to this. So, I mean, duplicate voters have been eliminated, new voters have been added, and the voters list has been pruned, and the net result is that more voters have been added. So, totally, it's hard to say
put the
who they
question
would have
slightly
voted
differently,
for.
what Shivan would mean is that why are we witnessing such a high voter turnout? Why is it that in comparison to the previous elections,
2020,
in comparison with 2020, there have been substantially more number of people who in fact come out and cast their ballots? What has brought the people of Bihar to the voting stations to cast their ballots in this unprecedented manner? What do you think is driving this?
Well, I think the reason is partly women, because the percentage of women voters has increased considerably. And it's also the new voter who is very keen to cast his vote the first time.
I think there are about 14 odd lakh
when I-
voters who are said to be the first time voters.
migration workers coming back.
And that of course is a crucial point, Jivan, because Ms. Fadnis, this time round, the vote of the migrants is said to play a big role.
Exactly.
Because it was the festive season, people had
Chhat
gone
Puja.
home for Chhat Puja, they'd stayed back and then they decided to make their ballot count. Which way do you think the migrant voters of Bihar, that is people who work in other states, who've gone back home this time during election season, would have cast their ballot?
was it for caste or was it for change? These are questions coming up.
Well, migrant voters typically, I mean, I'm relying on anecdotal evidence here. Migrant voters typically would vote with the other factors in mind. They would vote looking at not just what they are seeing in their state, but also what they have seen in other states,
Right.
where they may be working and they may be operating. And based on that, that colors their experience. And based on that, they will have come back home hoping that either the same governance model will be continued, or that there should be change. At this point, it's very hard to say which way the migrant voter will vote.
Right.
That's in the realm of speculation.
Ms.
But,
Fadnis, some people have
overall-
suggested that even though the migrant population of Bihar, when they go to the other states, they see what they're witnessing. When they are in other states, they're all looked upon as people from Bihar. But the minute they go back home, they're not just people from Bihar, then they go back into their respective castes, where people become Thakur, Brahmin, people of other castes, Muslim. Do you think, once the migrant labor goes back home, they're looking at issues of development, or does the question of caste start weighing in on their minds?
Well, all of India, caste is a living reality. So you cannot eliminate caste from your identity. You cannot remove it. But that said, there are many people from the same caste in a constituency. Who does the migrant voter specifically vote for? even assuming that he votes, I'll give you an example. That in Darbhanga where I went, the Jan Swaraj party has fielded an upper caste candidate. So has the JDU BJP. So now, of them, who is the migrant voter going to choose from? Is he going to choose a party that has only newly been launched, or is he going to choose a party that he has seen operating elsewhere in
Right.
India, while the caste is the same? So there are many ifs and buts in this, and I would not like to speculate on this.
All right.
But overall, it does seem as if the migrant voters' uh, preferences
Right.
are colored by his experience outside the state.
Ms. Fadnis, another aspect that needs to be spoken is every time that an incumbent seeks a re-election, he speaks of his track record. Nitish Kumar has been the chief minister for the last 20 years. He's now 74 years old, and questions have been brought up about his mental acuity. Is he really there 100% all of the time? Because there have been videos of him, where it appears that he's clearly not aware of where he is. Do you think that has played a role on the minds of the people of Bihar in choosing who they want as their next chief minister?
Saleh, just allow me to come in there, and Ms. Fadnis, we'll come to you for the response that Saleh asked. I'll just quickly like to go to the trends that are coming in. It's been about 20 minutes since the counting started. 77 out of 243 constituencies, that's where the trends are coming in from. 47 for the BJP, RJD plus at, of course, that's the Grand Alliance I'm talking about, that's at 26 now. And the JSP, Jan Swaraj, having a count here at 3, others at 2. Those are the kind of trends we're picking up. Just to repeat,
These
to our
are
viewers,
initial
these are initial
postal
trends.
trends.
It's just been 20 minutes. This is where it seems to be going as far as the constituencies that they are coming in from. 78 constituencies where they're coming in from, out of which 47 for the BJP plus, that's the NDA, and for the Mahagathbandhan 26, JSP, Jan Swaraj at 3. So as of now, at least the trends seem to be very much in tandem with what the exit polls had suggested. But once again, repeating it for our viewers, that these are initial trends. These are not the results. So we will need to wait and watch. Ms. Fadnis, back to you for what Saleh had questioned.
So the question, I think, was about incumbency.
Incumbency and also the mental acuity of Nitish Kumar. He's 74 years old. At times there have been these videos that have done the round, something that the opposition has also extensively spoken about, that Nitish Kumar, he's probably getting old and age is catching up with him. Do you think that would have played a role in the way the people in Bihar would have voted for him?
I think this is a vote of a thank you vote for Nitish Kumar. This election, more than any others in the past. People have seen the work that the government has done, both with the RJD as partner and with the BJP as partner. And their contribution, their gratitude is with Nitish Kumar. Yes, there are problems about his health, and periodically his detractors keep putting out stories about how he's not all there. I did not see any evidence of that either in his speeches or in the way he conducted himself. I think he was very sharp, and I don't want to go into a long story about this, but he contradicted his rivals fairly effectively whenever he was required to. There is evidence for that. So yes, his health, at 74, you're no longer as agile mentally or physically as you are at 47. But overall, there is a lot to be said about what he has done for Bihar. And I think his reputation as a floor crosser when it comes to changing partners, even after fighting elections with them, I think that is a story that has been overturned. His reputation as Palturam, person who is a kind of
Shiva, that's an interesting aspect of Indian politics, where Nitish Kumar, despite the fact that he's tried to project himself as Sushasan Kumar, someone who has brought good governance to the state of Bihar, the fact is that he's okay to choose any alliance partner that he can so that he continues to remain in the Chief Minister's chair.
And that moniker remains with
Yeah,
him.
that does.
Which Fadnis just put it out there, but that moniker remains. But, just to take it in further from what Saleh mentioned, Ms. Fadnis, usually, and we've seen this thrice at least in Bihar in the past, that a higher voter turnout, which is anywhere more than 5% from the previous time, from the previous election, it usually spells a change. It's not really gone in the favor of the incumbent. It happened in 1967, it happened in 1980, and also in 1990, when the voter turnout was more than 5% and there was a change of government. Do you find that kind of a trend possibly repeating itself in 2025?
I would not derive such conclusions, because for the data that you have given, the instances that you have given, the opposite is also true.
Yes.
So we cannot derive such conclusions. I don't think voter turnout means plus for one or the other side. It merely means that people have an opinion, and they're out there, out on the streets to register it, whatever their opinion may be.
Interesting. This is the election counting that has just gotten started. And let's get our viewers up to speed with the latest trends that have come in, where these are, remember, still projections and trends and early leads. It's only the postal ballots that have been counted so far at 8:27. At this moment, this is what the figures indicate, that NDA is ahead at 38. The Mahagathbandhan is ahead at 24, while others have got 4 seats in their kitty in the leads and trends. These are very, very early numbers, and things can dramatically change in the course of the next few minutes.
I think in another 2 to 3 minutes, the EVM counting will start as well, and then perhaps these trends will have a little more weight behind what it is. But again, as I mentioned, these are trends. Out of the 100 constituencies, out of 243, the trends that are coming in that we're reading out for you, 63 for the NDA, 32 for the Mahagathbandhan, the Grand Alliance, 3 for the Jan Suraj Party. Let me very quickly, Ms. Fadnis, before we slip into a break, the Jan Suraj Party, they were mostly being seen as disruptors. How much of that do you feel is going to happen as the results are, as we approach the final result?
Jan Suraj has designed itself as a disruptor, and that is where its attractiveness and its newness lies. As to whether it's going to make a substantial impact on the ground, I have my doubts. People agree generally with what Jan Suraj is saying, but would have felt that it might be a waste of their vote to vote for it, because it has very little chance of actually forming a government there. So while Jan Suraj is important, I don't think it's going to have a very big impact, except in those seats which have posted very, very narrow victories.
I think that is what Prashant Kishore himself, all through campaigning has said, ya to arsh par, ya phir farsh par. So it remains to be seen as to what is going to be the tally that, the Jan Suraj Party of Prashant Kishore ends up with. We'll slip into a short break. Do continue to stay with us. We'll get you all the updates that are unfolding at this moment in this big election count in Bihar. We'll see you on the other side.
Just a quick takeaway, 50% is what the initial trends are suggesting, where the NDA is ahead of the Grand Alliance by 50%. There's jubilation in the NDA camp, but of course these are earlier trends. Let's wait and watch what happens.
Never celebrate early. That is the reason.
Yeah, they're still calling it badlav. That's what Tejashwi Yadav is saying. We'll slip into a very quick break. Come right back.